All right, I'll be here in 3 minutes. You can listen to some music for your listening pleasure. Hold on. Uh, come on. I'll be right back. Give me 3 minutes. Okay. Hi, everybody. Okay, let's get right into this. I have a feeling she's not going to address it, whatever she's pissed off about, but let's go take a look. See, hold on. Welcome, everybody. I'm gonna play her audio.
We're gonna have a good chat and
Yeah.
Cherries are really, really good too. Very sweet. What you guys think, they're big?
Oh, have you guys? Have you seen a close up of Jimmy's hands? His fingernails? They're so nasty. They're so nasty. I dated a guy once that bit his nails below the skin, like the tops of his fingers, and there was dirt under it. Yeah, Jimmy's got. Yeah, just an observation I made one time. I'm like, nasty. I got a picture of it too. If I post, I'm debating whether I should post it or not.
To get a ruler out here and show them how big they are.
well, there is a ruler somewhere.
How big? What? You got a ruler? What are you gonna do, Jimmy? Show how big you are? Oh God, don't do it. He's losing his mind.
I'm gonna get the live shot on. I can't see what they're saying.
Hey, look at them.
He's measuring balls.
I'm gonna get the live shot on because I can't see them.
They're huge.
He's talking about his balls in the ruler. They're huge.
That's not the right thumbnail. See something, guys.
Where's the chat? Is that the chat over here?
Yeah, that's a chat, but why is it got the wrong?
It's got 130 people in
I
there.
have to change that.
Subscriber mode only.
What's up with that?
That's all right, Merv. I'm not prescribed.
There's no freaking thumbnail.
Okay. How's
How did
everyone?
they get the wrong thumbnail?
How did they get the wrong thumbnail? Hi, Joey.
All right, well, that is totally the wrong thumbnail. Okay. Hold on a minute. It's going to take me a minute. I'll just.
Is that our
this
fault
in
too?
here.
You got the
It's
wrong
really
thumbnail?
important.
What'd you put for a thumbnail?
Yeah.
Arts and Craft Projects Live.
No, not at all. Let me do this. Let me do this.
Hi, Tonda. How are
Do
you?
that. There.
You're welcome, Jolie, Kara, Aunt Timon, Angela Critters. How are you? Kimberly Mack, good to see you.
Okay.
Yeah, Kara, she will be.
There we go.
So where do you all do that? In there?
She's got 137
over here,
people
yeah.
in there.
Okay, guys. So everybody's in there.
Okay, Jimmy, get ready.
Now, let's go.
Sandra's in
So
there?
the next happy mail is from Sandra Rusak. And she sent me a bunch, and I mean a big bunch,
Yep.
of the little.
Of course, pine cones. Of course, Merb can't just have one of anything, because one is the loneliest number that you'll ever see. No, Merb has to have multiple items.
Pine cones, these guys right here.
Oh my God,
That,
Merb's onto
you know,
pine
you can
cones
use,
now.
that'll be really nice for Christmas DIYs. Got
Yep,
a lot
Christmas
of them.
in July.
Now again, if you want to see the big ones I got last time I was down by Sandy, and then the one that I decoupage here, and then these are our biggest pine cones over here, so very different.
Okay, let me pause that for a while. All right, what's everyone up to? Right, effing pine cones. She loves being the center of everyone's attention because she's a narcissist. She's a narcissist. So many lives tonight. Well, yeah, Merb knows how to get it started. Did you see her community post? Why don't I go over there and read it to you? All right. Let me share screen. Share. Video, share screen. Okay. Hope I do this right. Click it. I don't go live a lot, so let me know if you see it. Let me go back to my live stream. Okay. 8 hours ago. Should I try to talk like Merb? This morning, as I prepare to go to an appointment, I see that airing of a public video that has been on our channel for over 18 months was a little too much truth for some. I find it ironic that playing that video seemed to enrage these people, but airing my private messages to a trusted friend about a time in my life when I was very low and exposing it, laughing about it and mocking me for it was okay. I don't know what she's referring to. I don't mock her. I parody her. Just putting that in there. And parodying her, I get such a negative aura. It's like I'm actually dancing with the devil when I parody her. So believe me, when Pink parodies Merb, I'm doing y'all a favor. I've ignored their videos on multiple channels. No, you haven't. How do you know they're on multiple channels? Because you've been watching them all. I've ignored them contacting subscribers and lying about me and presenting one-sided views of things to spin a narrative that they thought made them look like angels and demonize me. Well, first of all, Merb, we've been showing proof. It's not a view. People are showing receipts. Remember, Molly Golightly? There's your receipts. I cried, prayed. Prayed? You pray? Really? The devil prays? Relied on the support of my family and friends and ignored it all and continued growing this channel. Your channel's tanking. This is a little bit long. I'm going to read a little bit faster. Hi, everyone coming in. Tonda, Coconuts, Francesca, the Lies Moo of Two, or Bitey Cat, or whatever alias she is under now because she told me she needs to hide her online actions from her family. is saying about my friends, the Ruzeks, is gross. She knows full well why she asked something, and for her to lie about it and try to make it look like I was doing something behind their backs is evil. You have no idea the devotion Sandra and I have for each other. You cannot understand that we are true friends and we have a bond because we know pain that most of you are lucky to not know. No, there are a lot of people who have lost a child in this community. So don't try to put yourself up there as you're the only one, okay? As far as a murdered child, I actually know a couple of people who's on YouTube whose child has been murdered. You're nothing special, Merb, okay? This is just a narcissist trying to gaslight and manipulate and blah, blah, blah. Sandra knows my heart and I know hers. Really? Really? Nobody really knows each other. I would think you'd have to live with them and like practically sleep with them to know someone's heart. But all right, if you think that if your illusions of grandeur involve internet and you don't think you know everybody on the internet, yeah, okay. That's manipulation. Your lies do nothing to our friendship or hurting this family when tomorrow is the anniversary of the horrific tragedy. All right. This is guilt tripping. This is guilt tripping when she puts in tomorrow being the anniversary of the Watts murders. This is totally guilt tripping. Nana Patty, Mama Ames, Muppets, Davita, Kubi, Jackie Burns, Lisa D, and others patting her and Hell to the No. Hell to the No is back. Also, Moo and friends on the back for that. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Gaslighting much, Merb? Call 911. Let's put the fire out. It's a gas leak. Okay, and she goes on and on. Okay, this is like a friggin' manifesto. Oh, and I thought you all think all the people whose ears you've been in the lies, the ones colluded with who have left. Some of you know and others you don't know about yet are not as loyal as you think. So these are just her thoughts in her head. Remember how I talked to you about thoughts? We all have thoughts. Doesn't make them true. Merb has so many thoughts in her head and she slams everything down to the keyboard. She doesn't sleep on it. She doesn't give herself time to think about what she writes, you know. Some have seen the dirty things you are doing in your hashtag private thoughts and messages. The truth comes to light, and I'm going to reveal it all for everyone because I will not just sit every day and watch more things twisted and more people violated for your cheap thrills. Excuse me, Merb, last time I checked, they're called victims of your doing. Okay, but this is gaslighting, this is manipulation tactics, this is all narcissistic bullshit. And I thought she already revealed everything a few weeks ago. She gonna do it again? Jeez. See you tonight. Thanks for all the unwavering support you have all shown me and given me through all my emotional torment we have been through. So deeply grateful for every one of you, and you'll never know how much I needed you throughout this ordeal. Merb, do you have a real life? Do you have a real life with real friends? It means more than you can ever know, and I love you all so much. A bunch of shit. Okay, let's go back to her. Okay. Hold on. Why don't I have any sound? I turned my Bluetooth off.
Hey, Chris Ring.
Ugh. Ah.
Yeah, we're going to be keeping you in our thoughts and prayers. To Scooter.
Two Scooter's been nasty. Did you see Hell to the Nose video? With
Hey,
IP,
Tracy Thomas, how are you?
with IP addresses? Really, Two Scooter? Looks like your scooter wheels just fell off. All right, I'm going to put a link in if anyone wants to come up. Invite. Copy to clipboard. All right, let me see. It's been a while. Edit. Paste. Okay. If anyone would like to take a link, tell us your story. If you need support, we're here. Allegedly innocent. Hello. God, the freaking pine cones. 172
Yes.
people.
Just like how we have that one and then have the tiny one like that, but
There's tons of them. She's surrounded.
these are still
with pine
nice and
cones.
woody. Like,
I'm
look
gonna have
how
bad dreams
thick
tonight.
those are as compared to, say, our pine cones are not woody like that. They're very, see how flimsy New York is like. We're not known for our pine trees. They're really, really, look at that. They're like,
Did you guys see yesterday when she went to the fair how pissed off she got about not being able to see the moon through the lens of her cell phone? Hold on. Just checking something. She got mad because, I mean, for someone who claims to be a professional photographer, she has said that she got upset that she went to show us live streaming, not us. She could care less about us, but her loyal subscribers. The moon. Well, first of all you have to do is walk out your back door. Second of all, for a professional photographer, she couldn't figure out why the moon didn't appear to the naked eye as it did through the cell, the camera cell. I found that interesting that she's a professional photographer and she didn't know the answer to that. Oh, that's right. She's a liar.
like,
Okay.
love them.
Okay.
It's
going to be a long fall, people.
I just right now, so put those over there. These in this is the lavender pot I finished. It's getting cold. Jimmy, how cold is it going to be tonight?
Not as cold as you, Merb.
What's the temperature going to be tonight?
Not as frigid as you.
47? Do you think I need to bring the avocado tray in?
Merb, you're frigid 32 Fahrenheit. That's a freezing temperature.
It's 58. It's over here. And I don't know, see if there's anything else I wanted to show you. So these soaps, yeah, I'll find out about the soaps.
Oh my God, I make soaps, organic soaps.
We'll get a few more things ready.
Look at, once she starts selling soaps,
Okay.
when I was in Hawaii, that's what I did. I didn't do nursing. I sold soaps. I made organic soaps. It'll be interesting to see what she prices these at. I was pretty good, especially in Hawaii, $1 an ounce. That was competitive. Back then, that was competitive. People were charging anywhere from $1 to $1.50, $1.75 for 1 ounce of organic soap. So be interesting. I know what the prices are now, to see how she rips off people with this crap. And if you all want to learn how to make organic soap, it's so easy. You can do hot process or cold process soap. And it is so easy. You'll love it. It's cheap and it's pure. When you're done with it, it's pure glycerin. I promise you, you will never, ever need lotion again if you use organic soap. And you can make your own. Our grandmothers and great-grandmothers made with lard, made their own soap, and that's how you make it, through a hot process or cold process. I do hot process. It doesn't matter which one, but I still have a Facebook page called Perfect Soaps. You'll see some pictures on there. Halloween were my best sellers. I make skull soaps and things like that, but all organic. So it'll be interesting if she starts selling these. She ended it? What? Where's she going now? She's doing that tricky move. All right. Anyone want to come up? Nah, what she does, Antimone, is she ends it and then she goes on to like her Zoom. I don't know. Black Eagle, how are you? Thank you for the messages. I appreciate them. I could make Fruit Loop soaps. I can't now. I'm lucky if I can do anything right now. Life is, it's pretty hectic right now for me. But yeah. All right, we'll see where she goes. Let me check into her stupid channel. Where's she going? Hold on.
This over here.
Let me see what
Have a lot of crap. All right. I'll see you in a little bit. Thank you so much, Sandy. I love it. Hi, Janae. How are you? Hey, Debbie D. All right, Nicole. All right, I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right. I love you guys.
Listen to that.
Go over there and
I love you guys. I love you guys. When I was talking earlier in my earlier live, I love you. You know, like Angela, I love you so much. Thank you. I love you. Love, like you emphasize the word love. I love you so much. I love you so much. I should have put on my MRB wig. I didn't prepare for this, but I can't, not tonight.
end the live, but let me go and do that. So give me a minute. It's going to be a minute for me to go over there and take care of that, okay?
Okay.
1 sec.
All right. See you soon. All right. She shouldn't be too long. All right. I'm going to post a link. Let me see if I can remember how to pin it. Paste. Don't I have to go to the YouTube side? Let me go to the YouTube side. Let me mute it. Oh, shoot. Here we go. Oh, I remembered. All right, there's the link. Go back to StreamYard. Okay. Okay, it's pinned. Where is she going? She does like this magic trick where I can't still figure out what's behind it. She does this with a lot of her live streams. She cuts them and then goes. So I haven't had time to stop and get into the reasons as to this. She only had 120 live viewers even with her big reveal. No one cares about her bullying and slandering any longer. That's right. The only reason why she had those many people in there because she announced earlier in her manifesto, which it is a manifesto, that she was going to clear the record or something, like she said a couple of weeks ago. Remember, I live streamed that one, and I blew my nose into my decoupage napkin. Do you still sell soap? Gathering Place? No. No, not since I came back to the mainland. Nope. I'd love to, when I came back, I shouldn't say that. I still made it, but I shut down my website because I went back into nursing. And because nursing over on the island they paid horrible. They paid horrible. And I did better off selling soaps there, a lot better, with just renting a kiosk. All right, let's see, where is she? So if anyone wants to come up, the link is pinned. Hey, surviving the storms. How are you? Surviving the storms. Has Mommy Ramblings, like, were you a subscriber of hers, a Rambler at one point? Is she going after you? Is she suing you too? And when the hell is she going to sue? Please sue Merb. Pine cones from SR on the saddest of anniversary. She's a piece of shit. Oh, from Sandy Rosick. How do you get away with giving pine cones to people without getting sticky hands? And how do you decoupage? Like, there must be a way. I don't know. Around my neck of the woods, they're always sticky. You lost your bloody nose virginity today. Scared me to death. So tired now. You had a bloody nose? I haven't had a bloody nose in years. I used to get them all the time when I was young. All the time. I used to have to go get it cauterized. She needs to step away from YouTube. Too late, Black Eagle. She's addicted. She needs the 12-step program. She does. AA 12-step program, any kind of addiction. It's a way of life. And Sad Girl. Follow Sad Girl too. But the 12-step program, I try to live my life by the 12 steps. I'm not in a program. I don't need to be in a program, thankfully. But I try to live my life based on the 12 steps. It's chilly out. Not too bad here. Decoupage. Your bathroom looked like a crime scene. You never had a bloody nose before. You pinch your nose, get an ice pack. You get an ice pack, put it on the bridge of your nose, and pinch for 10 minutes. Or 5 to 10 minutes. And if it's still bleeding, you pinch it again for another 5 to 10 minutes. And then if it doesn't stop bleeding, you would call your doctor. But sometimes an ice pack to either side of the nose helps will constrict the blood vessels. But I hope you're feeling better. Little sand through the hourglasses. These are the days of our YouTube lives. Is she live yet? Where is she? Come out, wherever you are. She's been waiting for this. So that's the title of her live. For what? Pine cones? Oh my God, Merb. You've been waiting for that? That's what you wait for in life, is pine cones? Jeez. So we're going to go from shells to pine cones from now until probably November. Hi, Trish. The time here, I'm in Boston area, 10:05 p.m. No, head should be straight, not back. Kevin said she's coming back later. Oh, Kevin, he's the guy. He's the mod that deleted, that kicked out. Oh, what was her name? Justice. What was her name? Justice Warrior or something like that. For wanting to buy something at auction, and Merb said that she had to prove who she is with a Facebook page and all that shit. Like, I'm so glad that woman did not do that. You're from Revere. What made you move to West Virginia, if you don't mind me asking? Revere had a bad fire a few weeks ago. Did you hear about it? Right on the beach, the high-rise apartments. There's midway up, there's like a rooftop midway up where people hang out, caught on fire. Look it up on the internet. Just put in fire, Revere, Mass, high rise apartments. Nobody was hurt, thank God, but it was bad. You want to come up, Dorothy? It's midday here on the 13th in Australia. Down under, well, welcome. Jimmy didn't have all the receipts made yet. He needed a little bit more time to finish. Did you see Jimmy flying into Walmart parking lot last night? He's a horrible driver. I was in a crosswalk at Target the other day, and these two guys, middle-aged guys, just fucking zoomed right by me while I'm in the crosswalk, and I'm like, hello? You'll have to check that out. Love different soaps. Yeah, on Facebook, Perfect Soaps. And I haven't posted in years, but look up the Halloween soaps. They're cool. They're very cool. And the thing is, glycerin. Okay, so here's the thing with soaps. You go into like the store, right? And they try to sell you Dove soap, Ivory soap, all the company soaps, right? For sensitive skin, for soft skin, for dry skin, for extra dry skin. What they do, all soaps are drying. They dry your skin out. They extract most of the glycerin out of their soaps and place it in lotions. And their lotions are expensive, right? You pay more for lotion than you do soap. So when you see soap that says, for very dry skin, no, it's all marketing bullshit. If you use 100% glycerin soap, which is organic soap, I promise you, you will never, ever need lotion in your life. Ever since I started using glycerin soap years ago, I used to get very dry legs, especially in the winter, wearing long johns under my scrubs at work, and very dry legs. Never had to use lotion, ever. So, and it's so easy. You don't have to make them all special. You can just make a huge block of glycerin soap, plain, doesn't need to be scented. Cut it up, and there you go. Did Dorothy say she'd come up? Jimmy needs a booster seat to drive that old truck. Well, yeah. He's what, 4'9"? He's a short guy. God love him. Black Eagle, why don't you come up? Every time I go live during the day, you're like, link, please. Link. Well, now you can take a link. She swears like a truck driver. Yeah. You can't. It's so easy. Do the cold process soap. It's so easy. You buy lard at the hardware store or off of Amazon and water. That's all you need is lard and water. And the process of making soaps, it's called what's the name of it? I forget the name of it. The lard evaporates through the process of making it, and it turns in so you don't actually, it's not toxic. Hold on. What's up, Black Eagle?
Hey there, darling. How are you?
Good. It's good to hear your voice.
That's good to hear your voice. I've been thinking about you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, you know me. I'm down with OPP.
Listen, I got your message when I asked you about how to kill a lobster.
Yeah.
You're like, just drop it in, hot water, but that's inhumane. So,
well, yeah, like what are you gonna sing it a lullaby till it dozes off,
No.
and then
What
like
you do, you put it in the freezer between 5 and 7 minutes and make it sleepy, and then you take them out and you stab them between the eyes.
you're still taking them away from their loved ones. So really, what
Hey, I
difference
didn't
does it
cook
make?
them. My son called me and he's like, "How do I, I don't wanna dump it in hot water." I remember as a kid hearing them
Oh,
cry.
good God. You know what? That's just a secretion of gas. They're not crying. They don't have vocal cords.
Oh. God.
That's like, like when the teapot like steams, that
Well,
kind of
don't you
thing.
think they can feel?
No, they don't have the I don't know, whatever the hell you want to call it. They don't have the you know, uh it would be like, they don't the
They
liquid
don't
inside, it's all liquid until it's cooked. And so like, do you think if you stab a knife into a glass of water, do you think it feels it?
Yes, because water
Here-
has molecular structure.
Hey,
Water
do you
has
know the
memory. Yeah, so I do believe water
Okay,
feels.
well let me ask you this question, Einstein. Do you know do you know the density of meatloaf in London?
The density?
Yeah.
The hell kind of a question is that?
It's a fucked up question, but I'm asking anyway, just for the hell of it.
The
I was,
density?
I, yes, the density of meatloaf in London.
3 inches?
I'll write it down in the book and get back to you. I'm just being silly.
Oh, that was a joke. Takes me a while to get it.
It's
Lobsters are
okay.
carnivores. They eat each other. Yeah, so I don't know. Anyway, I don't eat lobster, but my son got
Okay.
6 lobsters up from Hull off of a ship off of a lobster boat, and um, I gave some, to my dad, and yeah, so
He loved
but
it.
it was
My
very
sister tonight, my sister, she cooked, picked, uh, I don't know what you want to say, sealed it up in um, baggies, big to go things.
yeah.
And she's going to be taking them down to what's called Perry Ship, is where they ship all seafood, frozen seafood type stuff.
Mhm.
And yeah, she was at it. She was like for 5 hours. I was like, really glad I missed that phone call this morning at 7 o'clock that said,
Ugh.
"Hey, can you come help me out today?" It's
Well,
like,
lobsters.
whoops.
Beth says lobsters do feel pain, so should we Google
Well, how? All
lobsters?
right, okay. All right. We'll have to have a discussion on this at another time where I can come
Research
in.
has clearly shown that lobster, crabs, and other crustaceans can and do experience pain. And also, I do know that plants experience pain. If you like cut their roots, they feel
Well, then
pain.
you know what? We all need to become breatharians.
What's that?
There is such things called breatharians. Look that one up. Yeah, they survive
Oh,
on air. Go ahead.
In Switzerland, it's the law that you're required lobsters be stunned before being cooked. Animal rights activists and some scientists argue that lobsters' central nervous systems are complex enough that they do feel
So
pain.
what? You gotta flash your boobs to like put them in a state of shock and then cook them.
Stunned, not what were you thinking? Not flashed. Stunned.
What do you
Yeah,
think?
show the lobsters a MRB live stream. Stun them that way.
Oh
Or
God,
cook
this is all so
yourself.
serious. Now you're making. Oh my God, my boss, like my old boss, whatever, he speared a tuna with a arrow. It was brilliant.
Nice.
I know that was an
Nice. He should
8,000.
be on
Yeah,
that reality show.
yeah. They've actually, believe it or not, a few times have tried to get him to sign up for that. But once he met with whoever the producers or whatever, it's a lot less glamorous and a lot more what it entails is it's a lot, and you don't really get much out of it other than maybe some notoriety or whatever. Unless you're on
Oh, they
like the
don't
big
pay you?
Alaska ones.
They
They
don't
they
pay
don't
you?
pay they don't pay much. And they're like if you own a wharf or whatnot, like that they do, they're there, the crews are there, it's an interference of all the other people that are there. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a lot. It's a lot. And then wherever the crew are, they need to have housing, they need to have, it's a big deal. And it ultimately takes away from, I mean, I think like the ones where they're out there in Alaska and all of that, and they're out on the water for however many weeks or months at a time, I think it might be but like the wicked tuner and all of that, you know, they're basically just party
That's the name
boys
of the
that,
boat. Yeah. The Wicked Tuna.
yeah,
Yeah,
wicked
you're
tuna.
right. That's their livelihood, going out every
Yeah,
day and
yeah.
fishing. So yeah, I can see just, the crew and the camera and,
Well, and
take
not
one,
only
take
that,
two, it's taking
sure.
away from their livelihood. Yeah.
Well, and the liability, like when they're even like I do like watching the ones where they're in Alaska doing the crab and the salmon and whatnot, but the liability, just the danger, that is entailed just for when you run a regular crew and you're out there. Then you throw camera people and yada yada on there, and everything's got to be hooked up with cameras and sound, and it would probably deter a lot of people from doing it. But
Jay
unless
May,
you're just,
you see
a
Jay May's
reality TV
comment?
whore. What's
Did you
that?
see Jay May's comment? I pinned it. Her dad
I
turned over their lake fishing boat over an elk, drowned it, hung it in the garage. She cried for days. Oh my,
Okay,
that's
say that again. Read. I can't read
her
chat right now.
dad
Yeah,
used a lake fishing boat, turned it,
yeah.
turned the lake fishing boat over an elk, drowned it in the lake, hung it in the garage.
Ooh,
She
and
cried
he was.
for days.
Yeah, I'll tell you. One day I
Why
went
didn't you
down to.
shoot it?
What's that?
I think it would have been easier just to shoot it.
Well, if he already ran over it, did it get caught in the propeller?
No, no, no. She didn't say anything. She said, my dad turned our lake fishing boat, oh, over on an elk. So killed it that way with a fishing boat? I don't know. Now I'm confused.
Okay, let's get
Oh,
on to my story.
did you see Merb almost they almost hit a few times another deer. Oh no, I know what it was earlier, you guys, in my live. They went by a cruiser that stopped because someone hit a deer. And
Oh,
Merp's like, "Oh, I could never show that. I could never show that." But you showed your dead dog. That was it. That was what I was trying to remember. You showed your
okay.
dead dog.
Well, hey, I'll tell you what, one morning, like my boss, I mean, he's into hunting, fishing, all of it. And he's just like he's a guy of very few words, right? So, I get down to the pound one morning before I'm going to work. I go in, it's like I don't know what time it is. It's like freaking like 3:30 in the morning, whatever. Probably had maybe one cup of coffee. And I open the door and, I'm doing what I got to do in the office and getting shit ready. And I open the door to go out into the back area. And I literally almost fell over two dead deer. They
Oh,
were they were dead. They had their bellies cut open, and it was right near the ice machine. So they pack them full of ice. And I mean,
yeah.
it's like, the last thing in the world that I ever expected to see. And I literally, like, I mean, it was just like, oh my God, oh my God. And like, I had to, like, where you do sort of like a hop, skip, and a jump so that you don't fall on your face on a dead deer. So I leave a note for him, and when he when he when, when he gets back, and it said something like, "Hey, fuckface, thanks for the fucking heads up on the 2 dead
Right.
deer." And he just was like, "Oh yeah, okay, Sarah. I'll try to remember that next time."
And it's pretty. I'm surprised MRB being in demographically where she's located, upper state New York, just like in New England, it's not unusual that you'll even see a truck with a dead deer tied to the front of
Sure,
it on
sure,
the hood. It's horrible
sure,
to see, but she made it sound like she's
sure,
never ever seen anything like that. Oh,
sure,
someone hit a deer, just like you, Merb. You hit a
sure,
deer, but you took off. At least that person, there was a cruiser there. There was a
sure.
cruiser there. I'm like, Merb, who
Hey,
hit it?
I'm
And
s- I'm s-
bolted.
sure. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm still traumatized from a squirrel that I hit 30
Oh, me
years ago.
too. I buried it. Wasn't it
Okay.
loud when you hit it? I thought I hit like something really big. It was like boom, and I'm like, what the hell was that?
No, I mean it was just sort of like a bump, but
No, this one, I don't know if it got caught in the wheel well or whatever, but I actually stopped and buried it. Probably not a very good job. I didn't have a shovel, but I used a rock and just dug. Took a
that's
while to
like,
get over. That sucks when you hit like cars on my street would hit a bird,
yeah.
and there would be my daughter running out. Mom, we gotta
Oh,
bring it to the vet because
oh,
Tufts in Massachusetts has a wildlife um, vet school there, and it's free if it's wildlife.
yeah,
So if they can rehabilitate the animal.
right.
So I can't tell you how many times we've been there with hawks and um,
Or hey,
birds.
I'll tell
We
you
brought a
something.
raccoon there a couple of weeks ago. She sent me the video
Oh,
of it, and I'm like, "Oh," but
oh,
that raccoon they had to put down because, she found it underneath the car, and she called me, and she's like, "Mom, it looks like it's dying, and it's dying alone under a car.
oh,
I'm gonna bring it to the vet." And I'm like, "Real? Like, how do you know it doesn't have rabies? Like, don't touch it." But it has
yeah.
this common disease, it's neurological, and it's not rabies, it's something else, and it ends up paralyzing their legs, and they can no longer walk. So she
Oh,
named it Phil,
so you
and
have
that
your first grandchild.
yeah, so she named it Phil, and then she brought it to the vet, she left it there, and then they called her back and
Yeah.
told her exactly what Phil well, they said, first of all, Phil's a girl. So she found out it was a girl, and they had to euthanize. They had to euthanize Phil. So I said, call her Philomena.
Oh, hey, in this day and age, you could call her Phil. Well, you know, she might be a rainbow,
Yeah.
or
Find
the
your own
artist.
contact. Stop talking about Merb. Oh, PB&J. Come on up. Take a link. It's pinned, PBJ. It's linked. Come on, take a link.
Who's P?
I pinned it. Find
What?
your own content. Well, tell Merb to stop finding victims. Okay?
Okay, who's Merv?
Mummy Ramblings.
Oh, 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 oh. You call her Merv?
Merb.
Oh,
MRB.
Merv. I thought you meant like Merv Griffin.
Merb. Merb just sent. That's
Merv.
one of Merb's bots.
Yeah, come on up, P. We'll be
Come on,
nice.
P. Bots don't talk though. They don't have a voice. All right, let's have a okay. PBJ, can you explain the theory of relativity? Because if you ask a bot, they can't answer complex questions. They can say hi, but you can't have like intense conversations with bots. So
Uh,
PBJ.
hey, PBJ, do you know the density of meatloaf in London? Oh, oh
PB
boy. I used to work with this woman who had Alzheimer's, and she would always say, "Oh boy, oh boy." And
Oh
so, of course,
boy.
I would say it all the time, and my kids would be like, "Stop saying that." It's like, okay.
PBJ, what is the equation for the theory of relativity?
Ooh,
Can you answer that? It's pretty easy, actually. If you took physics or even algebra, you would learn this. What is the equation for the theory of relativity? Come on, speak up, PBJ.
don't be shy. I'll
Do you
straight
give
up
up,
tell you, I
guys?
have no clue.
Yes.
I do.
Let's
I give
delete your
up.
comments. I love the name. Yes, E equals MC squared. Yes.
Damn.
Remember that?
You should try out for
I
what
don't
is it?
Einstein, you fake nurse.
What was that?
PBJ says, I don't Einstein, you fake nurse.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, darling, you can't walk a mile in
Well,
P's
why
shoes
don't you
because
have
she's still wearing them. She's
her
still
do
wearing them,
my
darling, 12
background
hours a
check
day.
to verify that? I'm
Oh.
sure she's already done it.
Yeah, well, like I said, she can't walk a mile in your shoes because you're still wearing them 12 hours a day. Boom.
Well, not recently. I'm on family medical leave, but
Okay, well, whatever. Jesus. Miss
yeah, whatever.
Honesty.
I'm still walking 12 miles a day, just in a different location. Yeah.
You sweating to the oldies,
PBJ,
swinging
take a
those
link.
arms.
Take a
Come on,
link. You don't
come on.
Einstein? Do you do any scientists?
Do you watch The Big Bang Theory?
I do. How
I do
about Isaac
too.
Newton, PBJ? Do you know anything about Isaac Newton or Marie Curie, Galileo? Who else?
Galileo.
Charles Darwin. What are your thoughts on Charles Darwin, PBJ?
And if that's boring, we can talk about Shakespeare. I just actually watched a
Charles Darwin was
Shakespearean play.
Origin of Species. He's interesting.
Who's he? What? Sees?
Charles Darwin.
Oh, oh my God. P, did I ever tell you about my first philosophy professor that I had
No.
a crush on? I'm sure I
We
did.
must have had the same one. If we have the same story, we had the same professor.
Well, so I had this
Okay,
philosophy
you can
professor.
take people. Hold on, you can take PBJ up. The bot's being very rude. Mommy Rambling sent a rude one over. Just my mods, do your thing. Go ahead.
Do it. Do it.
Do
Oh, you there?
it.
Just do it. So I had this my freshman year of college, my first philosophy 101. And I mean, I had never ever had like a crush on an older person ever. Like I don't know what I was fucking 20 something, 19, 20, whatever. Anyway, so like he was older, he was tall, he had not really like a handlebar mustache, but like he had this really cool mustache, really great voice. And it was like, man, this guy's kind of hot. So anyway, so I go through the semester, right? On the last day, right? He's out in the hallway near the door shaking everybody's hand as they leave the classroom. And I get up to him. He gave the limpest handshake that I have ever had. It was almost like it went to fairy dust. And it was so anticlimactic. So
Right.
anticlimactic. Oh, okay. It's like, so much went that vision that he was gonna like stick his tongue down my throat. Thought he was gonna.
Yes, Einstein said, there are two things in this universe that are infinite. Human stupidity in the universe, and I'm not sure about the universe. That's an Einstein quote. PBJ.
Right. Come on up, Jamie. Pink's gonna get bored with me any minute, so somebody come on up.
Never. So Dana got married. I was invited to her wedding, but
Shut up.
yeah, I couldn't go. I couldn't go because you know, of other things, and
Sure.
but I would have gone if I could have, but I didn't. So I'm wondering if she's on a honeymoon. I forgot to ask her.
I'm gonna have to kill her. It's too bad she just got married because I'm gonna have to kill her that she didn't even tell me. Fuck. Have a good time, Dana, because you're dead meat when you get back.
So I'm happy for her. Nice guy.
I am
met him.
too. I am
met him
too.
in person,
Yes.
so I
Sure.
can say I approve.
Nice.
He came
Hey.
to Boston in March, so and we met. We went live, and
Yep.
nice guy, tall. I mean, handsome. She did good.
Hey, let's face it, she's still got it for her age. No doubt. She's definitely aged a hell of a lot better than I have.
Hi, Jamie.
Hey, how are you, Pink?
I'm good. I'm sorry you got a bloody nose.
It happened right in the middle of your live today, and I had to dash out and stand in the shower and
Are you
turn
on?
my
Are you
bathroom
on a
into
blood thinner or aspirin?
No, nothing. I don't
you
even
take-
know why. I don't know
Did
why
you
it
punch
happened.
yourself in the nose?
Yeah, I'm a sadomasochistic, I guess.
Hey,
But
Usually, a lot of times,
Black
a lot
Eagle.
of times, the dryness of a room, but it happens more in the winter time.
Yeah, it's been humid here, so I don't think it was. I have no clue. But I called my son, who's a doctor, and he said, "I'm in the ICU. Call your doctor. But if it doesn't stop in 25 minutes, go see your doctor." And I'm like, I'm not going to drive myself with and my nose was just gushing. It was like terrifying. I thought, oh my God, I have a artery broken coming out of my brain. Anyway,
Is he single?
no, he's married. He has 4 kids, so but he's been in
How's
ICU.
marriage good and solid?
Oh, it's awesome. They're perfect for each other.
Stop my black
I'm
Eagle.
just
Oh,
sorry.
my kids are all great. But I have this wonderful joke that I think I have the energy to tell you if my puppy will get off my lap. She's growing. She went in and tried to clean up the bathroom with her tongue. It was gross. Anyway, okay. There's these 2 ladies and they're sitting on the veranda and they're chatting. And one lady says, well, when I had my first baby, my husband went out and he bought me a great big old Mercedes-Benz car. And the other lady says, how nice. And then the first lady says, and then when I had my second child, he went and bought me this big old expensive ermine fur coat. And the other lady says, well, how nice. And then the first lady says, and then when I had my boy, he was so tickled. He sent me to Europe. And the other lady says, well, oh, how nice. And she says, well, honey, didn't your husband ever do anything nice for you? She goes, well, yes, he did. He sent me to finishing school. And the first lady says, finishing school? Whatever for? And the second lady says, so I could learn how to say how nice instead of fuck you.
That's cute.
That's my favorite joke and the only one I still remember.
That's nice. I love that one.
So it always reminds me of Myrrh because I used to go in her chat and say how nice and just snicker because I knew what I was really saying.
Yeah,
Right.
we all should say that now. How nice.
How nice.
How nice.
How
Yeah, well,
nice.
didn't your husband ever do anything good for you? Yeah, well, he does everything for her. I've never seen a woman more incapable of life skills, coping skills, personal responsibility, family responsibility. It's
Hey,
always
I'll tell you the one thing he doesn't do is he doesn't pull the plug on that computer.
well because she'll beat him up.
You know what? I used to feel bad for him, Jamie. I don't anymore.
I
think
don't.
he's just as culpable.
Yep, I do too. I think you're right.
Nah, I think he came off with this really great persona at first. He's very likable, but after all this stuff and knowing what's out there and even as a husband, when she had her flip outs about finding her lost phone or whatever, the fact that he doesn't even do anything to help his wife, I lost total respect for him.
Yeah, he doesn't get alarmed.
No.
He takes it on his stride because he's so busy dancing as fast as he can to avoid her wrath. He doesn't use any
here's the
judgment.
thing. Here's the thing. Her on the computer doing
I'll
all
be
of
right
that
back.
probably gives him a break. He can like have a breather from their normal life, which I mean, if she's like that on a live in front of strangers, can you imagine what she's like? Just
Yeah.
every day.
Well, she's a banshee. She's crazy as a banshee.
Sure.
I tell you, if I ever behaved like that, I would want my husband to spank me. I mean, God, you're supposed to help each other be your best person.
Yeah.
But
Well,
he's so scared, he just can't even find the balls. I always have this joke that I say that they didn't exchange rings at their wedding ceremony. He just handed her his balls.
sure. So what part of the country are you from, darling?
West Coast.
Okay. Right on. I'm up here in the
Yeah.
Northeast. Yeah. So nice.
Yeah, my ancestors came from Boston, so I used to travel for work, and I've always wanted to go to Boston and look them up. So,
Mhm.
but they
Yeah.
came around the Horn to the West Coast
Okay.
in the 1850s. So,
Well, there you go.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
you
big
should
family history. Now that I retired early to take care of my mom, and
Mhm.
now she passed, and I have her money, and now I'm just gonna travel and look up my relatives. I want to go to England and to Denmark because that's where my mom's family and my dad's family are from.
Nice, nice. Swedish, Norwegian, or
Danish.
Danish?
Danish.
Ah,
And she's actually there's a British branch in her family where she's related to Guy Fawkes, the guy who tried to blow up Parliament.
oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I've
There's-
got all the old family papers. I'm thinking of writing a book.
Why not? They say everybody's got one book in them, you know.
My
Here's
life is just my
Go ahead.
life has been so crazy that all the people who know me, especially my crew of friends, say, Janet, your life has been so bizarre. You have to write a book. So I
Sure.
thought, well, okay, now that I don't have anything else to do, kids are
Sure.
grown, retired. Now maybe I'll write a book and call it, okay, you said I should write a book. Here it is.
Well, I'm going to write my title of mine is going to be I could make this shit up if I
Yeah.
tried.
Oh, God.
But my
Well,
grandfather was an author, and he used to say to me, first of all, that everybody's got a book in them. But
yeah.
he said, the difference is, he just followed through. I mean, a lot of people even start writing a book and then they just don't finish it or whatever. So,
Well, I had a teacher, my kids, when my youngest graduated high school, this teacher had all my kids and she was their favorite teacher. And I went to the parent teacher meeting for my youngest senior year. And she said, I want you to come to dinner at my house because I said, oh, really? Why? I don't know you. And she said, well, no, because I need to find out how you parented these 3 boys to be so completely wonderful and kind to others, and they stick up for the underdogs, and they're funny and they're well adjusted, and I'm having a baby and I need you to write down everything you did.
what a
So I went over
compliment.
there.
Did you go? I
So
was
I
going
went
to say,
over there, yeah, and I gave her all the things that I did, and I was a single mom, so I was in even tougher. Yeah, although I think it was easier because my ex turned out to be a jerk, so it was actually easier. But I told her all the things I did. She goes, we could turn this into a book. I go, oh man, my friends won't. I have to wait. This will have to be my second book. I got a whole nother book I got to do first.
sure.
I'm back. Thank you. Sorry about that. Hey,
It's all right.
Antoine.
Well, I love you, Pink, and I'm just going to step down and
Thank you. I'm glad
listen.
your nose, obviously it stopped bleeding. What did you
Well,
do?
yeah,
Did you ice on it?
Well, I went in the bathroom and stood in the bathtub because it was gushing. And I went on WebMD and it said to pinch your nose really hard and lean your
Yeah.
head forward.
Right.
And I did that for 25 minutes straight. I mean, I took
Yeah.
it off once in a while, but it would still gush out. And then there were all these clots started coming.
Oh, for God's sakes.
I was like, is that a chunk of my brain? What is happening here? I've never had a bloody nose. I had no idea.
Yeah,
Oh,
what
I
you
know
can
what I
do
was.
is just get a little bit of Vaseline and put it in the very inside of your nose, both nostrils. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's a broken blood vessel. That's why we get bloody noses. But if the air is dry in the house, so people have dehumidifiers or whatever, for whatever reason, that can cause bloody noses. So just take a little Vaseline and coat the inside of your nostril.
Well, every once in a while, because that was like 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago, a little drip will come out. And I think, oh no, don't start again. Don't start again. My son can't drive. He can't leave the ICU for my bloody nose.
Well, if it does start again, you just do the same thing. And also you can take an ice pack
Yeah,
or
that.
ice and just and put it in a sandwich bag or whatever.
Or you can do the Black Eagle way. Get on a chair, like a couch or the couch, or like a recliner. Put your feet at the top. Put your head on the bottom on the floor. Strap yourself down, and just hang out like that. It'll all drip back into your head.
I know it went down my throat. My son told me though that during a bloody nose, it's very important to keep your head above your heart.
Oh,
can lean
well then
forward.
flip it.
And lean
no,
forward.
Go the other way and just let it all come down.
Well, then you get a stomach ache because you swallow all that blood.
Well, no, see, Black Eagle thinks it will go back into your brain.
Then you can be
Oh,
like
I think my
Einstein.
brain's
She's not
beyond
the brightest
absorption.
tool in the shed. Just kidding.
I'm shy a few feathers.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
well, we all are. But you
as
know
long
what?
as it stops, if it starts again, you just don't panic, do the same thing again. It's when you do pinch your nose and it doesn't stop. That's when you got to get to the ER and they cauterize it.
Yikes. Well, they told me not to lay down. So they said you got to sleep kind of sitting up because it was a lot of blood, so you should
What I was saying, sleep upside down.
No, with your head up.
I really think that's a good idea.
Oh, but I want to clear up the elk story. My dad and his friend were fishing in a promontory during fishing season, and it wasn't deer season. And a poacher was firing gunshots, and he chased this giant elk into the reservoir. And it was swimming towards my dad's boat. So he and his buddy flipped the boat over on the elk and drowned it. And then they dragged it out and they put it in the back. My dad's friend had this giant 1968 Cadillac. A family of 5 could live in the trunk.
Yeah.
But they couldn't get the whole thing in the trunk. So the antlers were still sticking out on the drive home. And they tried to put like dad's coat or something over the antlers because it wasn't deer season. And my dad said, well, I think we can still get, arrested for not having a license, even though we didn't shoot it. We drowned it. And when they hung it up in the garage, all this water came pouring out of it. And I was just a little girl. I was about 9. And I ran out there and I just started beating on my dad's leg. And I said, you killed Bambi's daddy. You killed Bambi's daddy. And it was so traumatizing. I can't eat venison to this day. I hate venison. Hate it.
I've never tried venison. Black Eagle, have you? I've been
I've
offered it plenty of times, but I've never tried it.
It's a little
I bet
gamey.
the poacher was mad though because he was trying to bag that deer illegally, and then some guys drowned it and took it. So,
well, any meat without preservatives in it tastes weird, because we're so used to our food being processed and preserved.
Oh my God, we had this giant garden when I was growing up, and we grew all our own fruits and vegetables. And when I went to college, and my roommate and I went to the store to buy lettuce to make salad, I couldn't believe how crappy it was, because when it was dinner time, we'd go out to the garden and pick stuff and
Sure.
make our
Right.
food.
Mhm.
And it was so fresh and so full of flavor that the bag lettuce was like, oh my God, this tastes terrible.
Sure.
It's limp. There's no flavor. It's horrible. So
Yeah, well, it's the same thing when you take salt or sugar. You know, I mean, there's no way to completely take it out of your diet, but if you become really conscientious of it, your palate will completely change. And it's quite shocking, actually. My sister, she has to because she has MS. And I mean, it took me a while. Like I, have dinner with her or whatever. And after a while, it was like, wow, this is really good. She was like, isn't it? I'm like, yes. It's like, who knew
you can
that
really
food?
taste food, what it's supposed to taste like. Yeah.
Sure, sure. Of
And it's
course,
so much better.
yeah, and so much more expensive.
But
So,
my
it's
mom
so,
kept that garden going. It was like 110 feet by 30 feet. And she kept that going until she was 92. And
Wow.
I'd go over and help her all the time. And the last 4 years I lived with her and kept it up for
wow,
her. But we grew so much, we had to give a lot away to the neighbors, because it was
sure.
too much for just the two of us.
Well, when you're kids, you don't really appreciate having a garden. We hated it. But, as you get older or, as an adult, you begin to appreciate. Well, also we didn't appreciate it because, we had to weed it all the time and do everything.
Yeah. I
So,
was when I was a kid, my granny lived with us too, and she was a really master gardener person, and and she was actually only 4'9", so it always cracks me up when we think of Jimmy being that tall.
Right.
But we had to go out and work in the garden from the time I was about 6. I think I was out there picking weeds and learning about it, and I didn't really enjoy it as a kid.
right.
But I think she died in '72, and um, after she was gone, my mom and dad were really into the garden, and I would go over with my kids after I grew up and went to college and had kids and stuff. And we'd spend all our time out there. And then I became addicted to gardening. So I went to master gardener class. And
Wow.
so it does, forcing kids to do stuff they don't want to do is not always a bad thing.
Well, in my experience, having raised 5 of those little weirdos, um, people will be like, "Oh, I can't get my kids to eat anything." I'm like, "You want to know the trick? If you I said they're like birds, you just got to funnel food down their gizzards, but you can't, you know, just like my kids would come home from school or practice or wherever the hell they were, and I would just have hummus, vegetables, maybe dip, whatever. If it crackers and cheese or whatever, or sometimes just cheese or whatever. And
Mm.
you just put it on the table, they're going to eat it,
Oh, yeah.
you know. But if,
My,
it's like, yeah, if you try to dictate to them, you know, then they're gonna balk at it, you
well,
know.
we had this rule that you had to have a no thank you helping before you could say you didn't like it if it was new. And then I got my kids into swimming and water polo, so they were in the water all year round, which is exhausting. And they
Right.
would
So they
come
want to
home
eat
from
everything.
practice.
Sure.
Oh, they were
Famished.
ravenous. They would
Right.
have eaten loaves of plain bread to fill up.
Right.
So I never had any complaints about
Believe
food.
me, not only would my kids come home and they played everything from hockey to football and soccer. I'm talking 5 of them and all their friends.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd get home and go to start making dinner and there'd be absolutely nothing left. Like they would
Oh,
completely, I'd have to say, geez, I don't mind if you guys come home and, make a sandwich or two, but, 4 of you having 4 sandwiches between 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock, it's cleaning me out.
yeah. It's expensive raising sports kids. Yeah. And
Yeah.
now I tell you though, the funniest story, only one of my kids has children of his own now. And when his third one was delivered and his wife was working at her parents' florist on Saturday, and he called me up on Friday night and he said, "Hey, can you come over tomorrow? Do you want to visit the kids?" I said, "Oh, of course." And I was working then, and I said, "What time can I come?" And he said, can you be here by 9? Because by that time, Lisa was going to work. So he'd be alone with 3 kids, and one of them was a newborn. And I thought, oh, that's a little early on a Saturday, because I'm still working. But okay, yeah, I'll be there at 9. And he opened the door, and he's got one kid clutching his leg, and the other kid is standing there going, Granny, Granny, Granny. And then the baby's bellowing in his arms. And he opens the door and he looks at me and he goes, how did you do this all by yourself? And I just stood there and he goes, well, get in here. And I said, wait, I'm taking a picture of this moment. I waited a long time for this moment, you little son of a bitch. Yeah. So it's,
Well, my kids would be like, oh, I can't wait till you have kids. And I'm like, well, what the hell did you do so bad that you had us? Like,
yeah.
like,
J-May,
Well,
before
we
you
were
leave, I
really,
just want to ask you what your thoughts are on Mommy Rambling's community post from Manifesto.
well, I'm holding out. I said I wrote on a comment on your live earlier that does anybody really think MRB is actually going to provide any actual proof of anything?
Right.
And that I'm making canapes. The woman is
It was like
obsessing.
the last live I covered, it proved absolutely nothing. She was like, I'm letting it all out. I'm gonna, she
Well, it
proved
made her
absolutely
look like a terrible person.
Yeah.
And it was a warning to all the other people that are ramblers or are watching and thinking about becoming subscribers that, oh, you can be a member there for a couple years and be really tight with her, and then she trashes you.
Yeah.
And because that was not a random video selection, that was a total phony thing, and it was cruel, and it didn't make me think any less of Moo at all. I just thought, well, there it goes again. She sucks you in. You don't see who she really is for a while. She uses you to do something, and then when you stand up and go, wait a minute, I don't like the way you're behaving, and I care about you and I want to talk to you about it, which I do think that whole thing after the beach, I think it was an intervention. And they all said, look, this after traveling with you, we got some things we care about you getting better. Your mental health isn't where it should be. And then she burned them all. So they left. And now she's burning them over and over again. And I think every single one of them has the right to say whatever they want and bring whatever proof they have.
Absolutely. But
And
what I
they
wanted,
I accept every one of them and I forgive every one of them.
yeah.
I do. They get a blanket clean slate from me, because until you've been manipulated like that by a master manipulator, you don't realize how awful it is to come out of it and go, how did I fall for that? And all of the people who left her are very decent, good people.
Can
And
I
so
ask you
I'm looking
something?
forward to her bullshit.
Can I
Sorry.
ask you something? When I first ran into her channel, I mean, I thank God that I never became that I never really interacted with her. I think I sent her one email because Jimmy sounded like he was from Boston. He sounded like he had that Boston accent, a little bit of it. And she responded back. This was a long time ago. No, he's from, I think it was New Jersey or New York or something. But that was the only interaction I had. But there was something about her that, and I'm usually, somebody who just, I enjoy people, and I'm always, would subscribe to channels. But she was one person I stayed my distance from. There was just something about her. But I'm curious as what did all these people who became friends, what was it that people got drawn into about Carolyn? Was it just because she was covering the Watts case, or was she nice at one point and then turned mean?
Well, I think she used to be better off mentally. Well, I think she's always been a crappy person. I came to her, though. I was in her Facebook group because my mom enjoyed true crime, and I wanted to find something she could pull up on her own iPad to watch while I was doing all the housework and tending to her. And so I said, well, here's a woman, she's covering this Watts case. And Mom goes, oh, put it on. So I kind of started with Mommy before she had a YouTube channel. And then from Facebook, she said, you should come. Then she started emailing me. And I made a comment in one of her chats that I had a serial killer experience. And she says, oh, you've got to come up. She emailed me, you've got
Yeah.
to come up and tell it. And so I did that. And then she friend requested me from her personal Facebook page. And I went, oh, okay. And so I wasn't really watching her as much as my mom was. So when she said, go over to YouTube, I went over and watched the rest of the Watts case on YouTube. And that case was so easy for everybody because they had so much discovery released. It was
Yeah.
easy
Oh,
for
yeah.
everybody to make money off it. And then when the Watts
Right.
case was over, and mom started feeling more, and I think it was when that J Bells thing, because the minute I saw J Bells, I said, J Bells is a lifelong con artist, and Mommy Ramblings doesn't have the crime chops she thinks she does because she's fallen for this. And that's when I got really preoccupied with tending to my mom's changes. So I wasn't involved that much. And then I came back after mom passed, and I was watching Petito, and I emailed Carolyn and I said, I think it might be fair-minded of you to lay off the Laundrie's parents. And this was before we knew Gabby wasn't found yet. Nobody knew what was going on, and people were crucifying the parents. And I said, as you remember, I lost a friend and her fiance to a serial killer, and I met the killer's parents, and they were lovely, decent, wonderful people. And until we know what happened, maybe not be so eager to crucify these people. It's just not a good look.
Good
And
for
that's
you.
what she
Yeah.
learned. That's all it took. And then she came out after me, and then she said, oh, remember this J May? We had her on our, she came up and talked about a serial killer, and we all thought she was drunk. And I think she's lost her mind or something, or has mental issues because her mother died. Well, then, MRB, you have mental issues because your son died. But I didn't have any mental issues, and I don't drink alcohol. I just don't like the taste. And I live alone, and my dad always said, never drink alone. So it's easy to not drink. And she came after me big time. And then after she said I was never her Facebook friend, and that pissed me off. So I made those little videos on my not channel, and then I made a video about her COVID. But she's not mentioning me anymore, because when she came after my children and their careers, both my sons and their hospitals lawyered up, and one of them works for a state-funded teaching hospital. So they're the big guns, and she doesn't mention me anymore. And she never comes after you, Pink. I wonder
No.
what blessing you have that she's afraid of you.
Well, I don't know. I mean, she can try. She's not gonna. Maybe because I had someone come after me on the internet, and I kept quiet and I pursued charges behind the scene. Like, no, I didn't even announce it. You know how she's always announcing, I'm going to sue, I'm going to do that.
She never does
I believe
anything.
in the element of surprise. And in Black Eagle, you know all about it, right?
Mhm.
And I went through my incident with someone stating they're hiring a hitman to murder me. And I knew if I just would talk about it and go on live, like, it just wasn't going to resolve anything. So I reached out to the police, and in turn ended up reaching out to the FBI. They in turn reached out to Homeland Security because the YouTuber was from another country, and charges were pressed. So I don't know, when I have reason to go after somebody legally, I do it. So I've expressed that before. I don't go public about it. I like the element of surprise, and
Well, it's much
you mess
smarter.
with me, I'm not going to waste my time and talk about it. I'm just going to be proactive. And, if it's something that's illegal, I'll do something about it.
Go in the right channels. Yeah. Take
Yeah.
the right steps with the right professionals. But she's not smart. And she
No.
thinks she's fooling people by saying, oh, do you want me to bring out everything I have? Yes, we do. We very
Yeah.
much want you to show it. And you never, ever do, because you don't have anything to back up any justification for your horrible
Nothing.
treatment of other people.
Yeah.
You don't have it. You just don't have it. There's never a call to do this kind of stuff to totally decent people who were loyal and loved you. I didn't love her, but this last crew did. Because I
And
just,
the people that who remain, it's amazing to me that her words are enough for them. Let's
well,
like,
that's because they feel they got elevated. They got moved up the mommy ladder. They're more important to mommy now because they've been there longer. And if you look at her chat every 3 months, all the people are different. But that one crew, Lisa D and Nana Patty and Mama Ames, all those gals, they were in there a long time. They were the tried and true. And when they left, all these little people who have no sense of self or are attaching their sense of importance to a YouTube creator, they got moved up the ladder. So they're the big dogs now.
I see what you mean.
So
Yeah.
they're like immature. They're just not emotionally
I
intelligent.
don't get it. When you say moved up
It's
the
like a
ladders, do you mean like
multi-level
in a,
marketing. It's like the pyramid, you get moved up.
You're more
Yeah.
important to mommy.
but what do
You're
you
more
mean important? Like in the chat
Well,
room,
so
like
usually,
during the
yeah, well,
live?
in Slack and in mod chat, you get it. She has like 15 different Slack rooms, and not everybody gets in every room. It's a very hierarchical thing over there. And so
Mhm.
the top
It's true.
dogs are in the secret place where all the really bad crap goes on. And all those women who just left, they know how bad she is. And they are respectfully not going there. They just wanted to be left alone. But for some reason, Merb couldn't leave Moo alone. So I think because Moo has a lot of stuff on Merb that scares Merb. So she thought, oh, I'll be real smart and attack her first, instead of leaving her the hell alone. But Merb's never going to sue anybody. She doesn't have a business. Her income from YouTube isn't feeding her family. It's paying for trips to the dollar store and buying a bunch of useless crap. So I don't want to hear about her business and her income anymore. And whatever you did before Watts to feed your children, maybe go back to doing that, because this is not good for anybody. You're hurting people. And I'm a tough old broad and I can cut a bitch. I can take it. But a lot of people have a much more tender heart, and even though I am a real softie to the people I love, I take no prisoners when it comes to assholes. So, but there's a lot of people that are very tender, and she has really hurt them. And I can't abide by that. So I think bring out whatever you got, Merb, and don't just come out with more threats that you're gonna bring it out. Show us the goods. We want the evidence. So I want paper proof. And keep in mind that there have been people in your Slack that copied everything you did in there and have the originals. So you can't go back and edit it and try to sell it to us. We're not buying it. We're not buying it anymore until you stop hurting people. And nobody is trying to take her channel down. I've never heard anybody say that. We want her to get healthy enough to be on YouTube without hurting people. That's all we want.
In her community post, she puts, that we're trying to get her channel taken down. No,
I've never heard that.
No one's ever even said that.
No. Well, see, but that's what she does. And she manipulates and twists the truth.
Right.
Like she said about me in her website blog, where she threatens to out me and Heather and Jules and Michelle. She's going to go after all this. And she says, oh, and then there's what's her name in Oregon, and she's my biggest attacker. And she put all my children's personal info on YouTube. Yeah, like when did that happen? I never did that. I don't know all your kids' info. And which kid? You got 5 of them, or 4 now. But don't. I made a comment in a chat, in a conversation on a video chat, not hers, mind you. I never comment on hers because she deleted anyway. But somewhere else, I was chatting with like Evie Scorpio and some other good people, and I was making jokes about her kids, being just like her daughter's a mini me. I think I said that. And the night before, Merb had outed that her daughter works in Lower Manhattan, and Merb was giving people the train stop her daughter takes to work. And I thought, how are we so bad? And she's just spewing all these details about her own kid on Alive. And we get blamed for saying she's a mini MRB. But she takes everything and extrapolates big lies out of it and then makes accusations like that and then shows no proof of anything ever. So I've got my canapes ready. I did make them before I bled all over my bathroom. And and I'm eagerly awaiting the where MRB reveals herself again. Literally reveals herself.
It's not.
What the
gonna
hell's a
happen.
canapé?
It's hors d'oeuvres.
Oh.
It's a
Ooh.
tray of hors d'oeuvres that of different kinds, and some have kind of breading and different fillings, and some are, it's just cocktail food.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I've heard that on the Food Network before. It's ringing a bell.
Hors d'oeuvres, canapes. What else do they call it?
Finger
There's a
food.
Yeah. Yeah. Shut them up so you don't have to, give them something to drink with so dinner's cheaper. I don't know what do you call
Right.
it. I don't
think Carolyn is gonna do a live and bring proof, because in her mind, it's just what she says. As long as her supporters support that, her words, that to her is her defense or whatever. She just doesn't. It's this narcissist game. It's this game of just manipulation, gaslighting, and she really believes in her head that she's smarter than us.
Well, that's the trait of a sociopath. And I think all the people who are still in there, backing her up, I'm not a snob, but it reminds me of like 7th and 8th graders. Their kind of judgment and their kind of thinking. They can't stand alone, so they have to cling to a group, and they have to be in, and they have to be they're so undeveloped. And so all these women in there, and they come after me in the comments on other people's videos, because I do not comment on mommy's stuff. Oh, and she turned me into my police as a stalker. I live across the country, Karen. I don't even go to your channel and make comments or go to your chat. How am I stalking you? And she actually said it on a live. I have a clip. I turned her into the sheriff. Well, my town has police. Yeah, so I think she just makes all this stuff up, and she thinks, well, 1/3 of my idiot subscribers are stupid enough to believe this crap, so I'll just keep doing it. Whereas those of us who are smart and left, because we see what a fraud she is.
Allegedly innocent. You're right. She was trying to get extra views tonight, and she got 120 live viewers. And when you look at her past, she used to get a lot more than that. So even in the midst of all this chaos, she's only getting 120. I mean, it's Randy's Life went live tonight and got over 500 people.
Yeah.
So I think, from what people are just getting sick and tired of her.
And she didn't, it's her content and her dirty deeds that blew up her channel. It isn't anybody criticizing her. Exactly. And by the way,
it's her
she
doing.
became, after Watts, she was struggling. It takes her 10 minutes to even get her cameras and everything going correctly and get on the right stream. I mean, maybe she should watch Emily Baker and think before she's going to go live and have her whole program in front of her and know what she's going to talk about and be efficient and interesting, so that people, instead of fumbling around with all the tech and I don't know, where'd it go? What happened here? It's like, my time's important. I would rather watch Emily Baker than.
And I find with Carolyn too, is if she picks a crime case, all she does is read about it.
Yeah.
But she doesn't follow up with them. Like, she'll pick a case and it'll be like, okay, whatever happened to that? You know what I mean? She's not very fluid in her presentations as far as following up. Very unorganized, very unorganized. And I believe when the Watts case came out, anybody could have covered it and have done well, because like you said, the everything was in front of everyone to get the information. So I think what happened was thousands of people, hundreds of people were covering it. They were getting views. But once it ended, you really saw who had the skills or the talent to really hold on to a true crime channel and call themselves a true crime creator. And unfortunately, Mommy Ramblings didn't fit the mold. I don't
Well,
think
that's
she
because
does as a true crime creator.
no, because she's not, because YouTube for
Right.
her is her whole life. She doesn't have an unspoken thought in her head off of YouTube. Every instance of her life is on camera.
Yeah.
She doesn't have there's a real disconnect with
Mhm.
what a healthy life should be. You know, that you look at, if she wanted to be a success, she should take after like Stephanie Harlow, who picks a case and does a video. She's not live. But see, Carolyn needs the adoration and she needs the involvement with people because she has no friends. Her siblings don't even talk to her. She lives in the middle of bumbleweed nowhere,
Mm.
and she's just desperate for human contact. So she can't just do a filmed video on a crime case and get views like Stephanie Harlow does. You know, there's other people out there she could copy and be better and make more money. But she'd rather
Oh,
do this.
absolutely. Are you kidding? Absolutely. Her channel's a mess. And I've
She wants
often
to
thought
sell
that, like,
her
you could
job.
make so much more money, Carolyn, if you just whatever happened to that extra subscribe to my other channel that she was gonna do crafts on. So now, you're gonna torture people with pine cones until Christmas time? Jesus. I mean, she's ruining it for herself.
Well, and she's not even good at decoupage. That sunflower table, she left all the white. She just laid the napkins next to each other and flipped them in a line, and so there's a big white stripe in the middle of the table. Real people who decoupage trim all that white off.
Yeah, that's right.
And hers is like beginner decoupage.
Yeah.
Why would anybody go to her channel to learn how to do it when you could go to much bigger, better channels and learn the right way and get better results? You know, she's just she can't see past her nose.
Jamie, isn't it interesting though, and I mentioned it in my earlier live this afternoon, that how she it's like looking into someone's car if it's a mess. It's almost like a reflection of their life. And when you see her channel, between the crafts and going back in the crime cases she picks and doesn't go back to all of them, follow through, unless they're easy cases like, the one with Sarah and Amina, who were those two Muslim daughters that were murdered by their father. That's a very easy case to cover. I mean, it was like, it doesn't take much investigating, with everything was out there to grab for that. And it was a short trial. But I find that she doesn't go back and follow through in a lot of things. When she does, then it's crafts and it's back to this and it's back to that. Now it's pine cones and it's abundance, not just one pine cone, but 50 of them. It's a reflection of just, I think, her life, and it's so
Chaos.
out
Her
of
life is
order,
chaos.
and there's no organization to it, and it's affecting her channel, but yet she blames everyone else for it, and that's not the case.
Well,
It's just
she's
not.
such a public figure now. She's a big public figure now.
Or
And if she
influencer.
doesn't realize
Yeah.
it, she needs to learn this. Public figures have a much higher bar to meet in defamation and slander cases because they're so well known. You don't see, like Ryan Reynolds suing somebody when they say he can't act.
Mhm.
Public figures have a much higher standard before they can even think about going to court against somebody who says something they don't like about them. And she's just lost in her own ego. It's just all ego, and it's so sad. It's
And
just
if you
sad.
listen to her always bringing up lawsuits, and I'm sorry, but if you've got a real lawyer, they're going to tell you to be quiet.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's the first thing.
exactly.
I mean, she has incriminated herself over and over and over. So I don't know who this lawyer is she's created in her mind. I don't believe she has a lawyer who's a real lawyer, but you don't go online and you don't discuss. If you're going to sue all these people, or even one person, you don't talk about it. That's the first thing an attorney will say to you. Do
Mhm.
not talk about this. Do not go online and discuss this. Um,
Well, and the attorneys that she hired to go against BBT when BBT was going to court to get a restraining order against her, the attorney that MRB hired dumped her as a client. She didn't
really,
have an attorney. Yeah, she complained about it online on a live. She said, well, and then he tells me he just can't go to Boston and he can't continue my case anymore. Well, I don't think she ever had an attorney.
she could have very well obtained an attorney from Boston, not from New York.
Well, that's what she would have had to
You
do.
obtain an
That was what
attorney
was,
from Boston. And for a restraining order, it would cost her $1,000. It's the easiest thing. It would have been $1,000 retainer, and he would have talked to her, and he would have represented her in court. She doesn't have to get a New York lawyer to drive to Boston. Oh, she's not very bright.
no,
Not
she
very,
isn't. She's not
no.
smart enough to do true crime. I mean, she doesn't have true crime chops if she got taken in by J Bells, who was a con artist, obviously. From day one, I went, oh, this girl's a nut job. She's taking everybody to the bank. This is awesome. And that's when I bowed out. I was like, that's this. You're not a true crime person because J Bells is obviously a con, you
Mhm.
know? And I'm no true crime person, but you know, you don't live past 30 and not see him coming like that. She was so obviously whack. And there was Merb. We got to buy her baby clothes, send in donations. I'm like, and I'm so proud. I never had a membership to anybody. I never gave Merb, even though she was the channel that brought me to YouTube. I never paid her a dime. I never bought anything from her. I gave her absolutely zero financial
Thank
support.
God. Thank
Yeah,
God.
I haven't given any money because I'm old and I have to build I'm not that old, but I'm very young for my age, actually.
So
And
why
I'm
is it if people send her donations via PayPal or whatever, Venmo or Cash App, she'll accept that. But if you want to buy something from her auction, you have to prove who you are. But she has no problem taking donations from anyone out there, right?
well, and it doesn't make sense. All she has to do, if you're selling something, all you have to do is get the money and then ship it to the address they give you. And it can be a P.O. box. You don't need personal information. Once
No,
they pay it, you mail it. You don't need anything else other than the payment
no,
and,
you
and a
don't.
mailing address. So
That's
what is
shady. That's shady. Yeah. So why
it
are you
is?
asking for people to verify who they are? Money is money. When you get money in your PayPal, that's the real deal. Okay. All you
Yeah,
need, like you said, is their address. What's wrong with a P.O. box? She has one.
yeah, she does.
She has one. Maybe people don't want to know. Maybe there are residencies that you have to get a P.O. box. You can't have a mailbox depending on where you live. You know, in very rural areas, you're required to get a P.O. box if they don't do mail runs.
Oh, yeah.
So, why wouldn't it's just very suspicious. Very
Well,
suspicious.
I think it's unethical. It's unethical. And getting people's IP addresses. I talked to my son who's a bioinformatics degree guy, and I said, "What can somebody do with your IP address?" And he said, "Well, they can get the general most novices can get the area that you're living to within like 5 miles, but a real computer gem can actually find out your address." And he said, and here's what people don't know. Once you know somebody's IP address, if you're really proficient in computers and rewriting text and script and stuff, you can alter the options on their internet and mess with them that way. He said it just depends on how motivated and how knowledgeable the people who are getting these IP addresses want to be. But
So
you
these
can mess with people.
IP addresses, from my understanding, of course, the best IP is to have a roaming one. But even regular IP addresses do not stay stationary. Okay, they bounce. They even might bounce to the state, another state next to you. So when they say, I've got your IP address, it's not an exact location.
Well, you can. There are ways that you can. I'm not smart enough. I have no idea. But my son runs a hospital computer system, and
I think the only thing, businesses, their IP addresses are stationary, but
well,
residential,
because
they aren't.
if you get a VPN, then nobody can
Mhm.
find out anything about you through your IP address.
Right.
So if you're going to deal
Right,
with
but
people
I'm
like
pretty
me,
sure
get a
it's
VPN.
only businesses that have stationary IP addresses. But if you look in, even call your cable company or whatever, they'll tell you that without a VPN, even a regular IP address roams a little bit. It's never like, okay, you live on 100 Main Street or you live in this town. A lot of these IP, like my IP address, sometimes it doesn't even show up in my own state.
Really?
Yeah, and it's not roaming. So yeah, it's just something, if you're concerned and you're thinking about, should I get a VPN, call your cable company and ask them what protection they provide. And I don't know, maybe she's doing something illegally that she is being able to find your exact address, but that sounds like hacking to me.
Well, at one point I thought she's running a identity theft ring or something, because right
Yeah.
after she came after me, my bank account got hacked through Venmo, and she had already outed that she'd researched me and that she had my divorce records. So I
Jeez.
don't know what kind of a
You
background
never
check she did
know.
on
You
me.
never know. Just when you think you never know. All you
Right.
can do is do things to protect yourself, put things into place, and don't trust everyone, I mean,
But I think fundamentally, I really think she is obsessive, and maybe Jules could speak to this. People who are obsessive about things, look at the way Merb collects things and doesn't attach to people.
right.
She had to have 6 5-gallon buckets of shells and then hoard them because you weren't paying enough for them. We bent over to pick those up. I can't sell them for $40. I mean, come on, give them away. They're stinky old shells.
I know.
But she collects
Yeah.
shells, and she collects napkins, and she collects. I mean, she went shopping for dog toys once for her son's dog she was babysitting, and they bought like 12 new toys for this one dog they were babysitting for a
That's
weekend.
gotta be something definitely from Black Eagle, I didn't even know you left. Did you bounce out? You're trying to write in chat. That's gotta be something that stems from childhood. I'm sorry, but that's like she told that story about her teacher in school and one being the loneliest number. When the teacher mentioned the number
Yeah.
one, I don't know if they were learning prime numbers or whatever it was, but Merb started saying, I kept thinking of that song, one is the loneliest number. And I felt bad for the number one. That's messed up. So, I mean, and then she still
Well,
wants to go after the romper room lady because the producers cut out snack time
check this
on their
out.
show. And she wants to go and hunt down the romper room lady and tell her off. I mean,
Well, and in that same live, now check this out. When she was in kindergarten or first grade, there was a girl whose name was like Marianne Cacciatore. I don't know. She had 3 names. And Merb was still full of bile when she said that girl's name. And she said, "Oh, but Mrs. Whoever, the teacher, just loved her. She could do no wrong. And I was just chopped liver." And I thought, I can't even remember the names of people in my grade school classes, except the ones that lived in my immediate neighborhood that were my pals forever.
I just
Um,
remember that the kid that blew it when he announced that there was no Santa Claus in second grade. Scott, I won't mention his last name. And then in in 6th grade, we all had to stay after school for detention because the teacher, Mr. Miller, said do not throw paper planes out of the window. And what did Scott do? He threw a paper plane out the window. So the whole class had to sit in a round table, all of us, and listen to John Denver's "Good to Be Back Home Again" over and over and over for an hour straight. Those are the bad things I think of when I think of school. But
Well, I remember
I
in
wasn't out to get
kindergarten.
him or track him down. Like,
Well, I'm not scarred for life. When I
right,
was in
right.
kindergarten, we played house because we had this little playhouse, and I was the mommy, and this boy named Eddie, I can't picture his face. He was the daddy, and when he'd go to work, we would kiss goodbye. And the teacher called my mom and said, "Well, you got to come up here because they're kissing, they're playing house, and they're husband and wife, and they're pretending, but the kissing, she was afraid is going to be a health problem." I can't tell you. I know it was Mrs. Russell because I loved her. I don't remember Eddie. I just remember his name and my mom telling that story. But I wasn't scarred for life. I went on to kiss many men with absolutely no problem. I was not
There you
scarred for
go.
life, but everything has scarred Merb. Everything. So that means this goes way back into her childhood where there's abnormal resentments and unhealthy an unhealthy lack of ability to attach in a normal loving way
Oh,
to
absolutely,
people.
absolutely. It's
There's
pretty
just
evident.
no.
Yeah, that she's attached to objects and not people. Gathering place. That flying squirrel. Did she announce or talk about when that squirrel died? Because you kind of just never heard about it anymore. Her subscriber brought her a flying squirrel. Jeez.
Well, yeah, she's
No, the flying
and all that
squirrel I
stuff
heard
is
is dead.
in. I don't even know. I don't watch her enough to care. I just know
Yeah,
that when
I
she
don't
showed her
either. I
dead
was told that
dog,
flying squirrel is no longer alive.
I was so triggered when she showed that dog that
Ugh.
I was really upset. I volunteer at my animal shelter, my local animal control, and I've rescued dogs my whole adult life, and
Mm.
that really, really bothered me. I thought that was one of the sickest things I have ever seen because the motivation for it, not just the act itself was horrific, but the motivation behind it was one of the most unhealthy things I've ever seen. And it just really traumatized me. It brought back every dog. I've had 11 dogs in my life, and it brought back every loss to me. It was horrible. It was just
It was.
painful.
It was. She was it was beyond being vindictive. I mean, and yet when YouTube wanted it down because what she did, you think she'd take the whole, because even though she took out the dead dog part, I'm like, and then first it was gone and we were like, oh good, she took it down. No, she brought it back without the dead dog, but still the whole live stream was disturbing, absolutely disturbing. And so telling of the kind of person she is. So, she's doing her own self a disservice, but I don't think she'll ever see it. People like that, be it narcissists, sociopaths, whatever, I don't think they have that capability. Like I said earlier, they can only manage. If they want help, they can only be managed, but they can't be cured. There's no pill. There's,
No, it's treatment. It's long.
yeah,
She's a psychologist's dream. If she'd go into psychologist or psychiatrist, they'd have a lifetime patient. They'd
yeah,
make bank.
absolutely.
Well, I better go. My dog is getting all
All
antsy
right,
for me
I'm
to
gonna
love
go
on him.
too. Listen, if Merb comes on later, I'm checking the time. If I'm still up, I'll go live.
Oh,
If
good. I get all your
she's
notifications.
yeah,
And I'm sorry I
if
missed
she's
you
going to
earlier.
talk about this,
Well, it's very like her to make a big, bold announcement and then not to be a no-show.
has she done that before?
Oh, well, with all her evidence threats, yeah.
Jeez.
So we'll see. But I always get your notifications. So
Thank you. Okay.
I'll keep the phone on. So, But bless your heart, Pink. You're a wonderful human being.
Thank you, Jamie. It was good to have you up. Black Eagle too. Thanks for coming up. Everyone, thank you for being here. I've been reading your chats. And we'll check in soon, okay?
Stay happy, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Good night, everyone.